All right, now we have all of the items in place to create our drawing. We're going to go make drawing from assembly. I have the standard drawing template. We make sure that only show standard formats is deselected. We'll go with the A landscape. And this one jumps directly into the view palette. So we'll take another look at those. If you are going directly into the model view, your choice. You can X out of that and go to the view palette, or go back, whichever one works for you. So since I'm just bringing in the isometric view for now, we're going to first bring in the isometric for the assembly. Don't see anything else in here that I need. Probably the one thing with the drawings though is stay with hidden lines removed or hidden lines visible. I always think that ink at $1,000 a gallon, I really don't need to see this as a pretty color picture in most cases. All right, so we're going to set that one down, and I can either insert an additional, and if we go the view palette route, I'm going to go find the isometric again, drop it into place, and when the property manager shows up, we have show an exploded or model break space. So there is my exploded view. And it comes up automatically whenever I see the pick the view. It's either checked or it's unchecked. Size-wise, I still want to put a bill of materials in here, so, and it aligned them for me. Well, I don't really want those aligned because I need to work on the scale and some of the other stuff. So we right-click, go to the alignment, and this one is the default, or the parent of the alignment. So I don't get the break alignment. I need to go to the child view, and then we can break the alignment. Now I can move this one independently, and we can have both the exploded and the standard view. And I don't know, that's a little confusing, but we'll see what it does. Anyway, let's right click. Let's see, the tables are way down there, so figure out where we can find. So under the annotation tables, if you right click, because I'm using the larger screen to kind of split that larger screen, my tables are just at the bottom of the context menu, and we're looking for bill of materials. But if I come up here, as long as that view is selected, I should be able to do bill of materials. And if one isn't selected, I think it will ask you anyway. We're only doing top level here. Displaying one item number is fine. Starting increments, a layer if we've created them. Go ahead and hit OK and place it. All right, so in this case, I don't need the description. We haven't set any of those, so I do end up deleting the column there to open up a little more room. We have enough parts, but let's see, since I did that, let's see if I expand those out a little bit, and it kind of operates in the same vein as Excel. I should be able to double click or set the row heights and make this a little cleaner. So I'm pretty much not going to make it with that. So let's go into, we're at 1/2. 1/5 is a little bit small, but I might be able to drop that one there. Let's see, what about a user-defined or a custom size? So we're at 1/2. If I go to 1/3, that's not going to be too terrible. There it goes. All right, so just double click. We'll place that one. It'll kind of snap into the corner. A lot of this is just tinkering around with it, getting something that looks good. And with that view selected, then the auto balloon has been really reliable for last lot of versions. So when we pick, do we want them on the top, the bottom, the left, the right, all around? All right, if you do the all around before you finish it, make sure to drag to a better location, make them a little closer. We have the magnetic bar. In this case, I can drag all of them together. So the magnetic bar uh, groups all of our items. Anything that's like two crossover, and since it's pointing to the edges, we can manipulate those around. And I'd say that's not too bad. And for our first run through, it'll be fine. All right, so at this point, if you're doing single drawings, you save this as the assembly drawing. I still like drawing packages better, so I'm going to add the next sheet, and we're going to insert a drawing view model if I go that route. And I think maybe the body would be the first one. I usually think about how I would assemble these components. So grabbing body, then attaching one of the ends, and then possibly the slider. Basically creates a roadmap if I'm thinking through the process. Scale-wise, that looks okay. Let's go with the sheet scale so all of them get attached. It kept my 1/3, so we may end up changing that to 1/2, but actually that's not too awful bad. So, all right, so what we're not getting here on the view is the other side, and I would like for detail to have both ends. So looking at this view does not provide me with a lot of information, but let's, if I were to switch that one over to the top, just try to make these decisions before you apply all the dimensions. All right, so that gets me into the top view. That's okay. In the heads-up display, we have rotate view, and that's going to allow this to go 90 degrees. All right, so as I mentioned, I don't know that this view is doing me a whole lot of good, so if I highlight it, I can delete it. And then a projected view off of the bottom will get me there. All right, so size-wise, we're at 1/2. Let's go maybe a little bigger, and I will try 3/4. All right, so I can manipulate these, and then the isometric view, if I go back to custom scale, it could probably stay at 1/2. And depending on the industry and what you want, a lot of times we'll make a note and make a default note that says isometric for reference only. The detail views are the ones that we're interested in. So my general plan is to, if I go to the drawing into the model view, is to insert all of these. Let's see, we have a fixed end. And typically I create the multiple views. If you're using the view palette, you drag out the ones that you need. So we'll do that next. But on the model view, if I select all 3 of those, if it turns out that I don't need one, well, I just go back and delete it. So in this case, it's not really going to matter. There's no real geometry. Our basic rule, or one of the rules in drafting, is if you're not applying dimensions in that view, or you don't need to apply dimensions in that view, you probably don't need the view. All right, so the view palette. All right, so if we're operating out of the view palette, then we want to do the ... and we can bring the fixed jaw in. So this isn't going to be an exact roadmap, but it'll be pretty close. And I grabbed the same thing, didn't I? So since this is not the one with the configuration, we'll just do a quick Control Z. And that was the fixed jaw. So ... browse to selected item. So since I did the, I'm going to stay with the floating jaw. Oh, sorry, nope. How did I manage to do that? Oh, so one of these has the M5 tap tolls, the M12 tap toll, and that did not update. Okay, that may be where I confused myself. So let's open this up and take a look. So there's the M12 tapped. And we'll make sure, nope, it didn't come over on that view. So M12, the center marks are not going to stay, so we'll grab the hole geometry, go into the center mark. Should be able to just select that hole. Looks like I got the cosmetic thread. All right, so a projected view and an isometric view will get us to the same point. Typically with the configuration, because I did it that way and then I kind of added it on as illustration, typically there would only be one file, and my intent would be that there would only be one file, and I would manage the configuration between this one, right, so parent view, between this one and that one. But since I did the other one first, I managed to confuse myself there. All right, so my two fixed jaws, let's go with uh, the floating jaw. And we'll go ahead and accept that. So that one, the view, the top, again, not quite sure which one's going to be the best, but let's go ahead with the orientation. And because of the way I drew these, my design intent may not have been as clear, and really that would have been a better bottom view. So let's see if we can, if I keep messing with these. So that one has the through. So we're pretty much going to need, because the two holes on the back, we're going to need a separate view for that one anyway. So maybe not the top view. Oh, we'll switch that one back to 0 since it was applied previously. And we'll just keep hitting yes until we figure it out. All right, so there's the top view, there's the side view. I think I'm going to Control Z because go back to the front because I kind of lost what I was doing here. That would be the top view. Okay, I have the top view. I don't need that side view. And when I project this view out, okay, that gives me my desired result of the views that will best describe this. So sometimes you just have to tinker with it and get it to do whatever. So my first pass is to just go through and try to get all of the parts inserted and figure out that portion of it before I worry about doing and that one looks like it's going to be pretty big. So maybe those two. So 2 to 1. I think we probably stay 1 to 1 on those. All right, and since that did not adjust with the sheet, and then we will come down and make sure the sheet scale is selected. And the isometric did not jump, so sheet scale. All right, so not terrible. Let's see, we do want the lead screw in here, and I will leave the handle and the caps as ones that you can add and go through and practice. I will put them in before the next video, but give you a chance to do the process. All right, so we're going to want to see at least those, and size-wise at the 1/2, let's go 1:1, and it did it again. Let's see if there's a right click. I'm not seeing the scale, so sheet scale, actually that one could stay. All right, and on this, the cosmetic thread is that line, although how much it's actually showing isn't really great. It's not doing the dash dash dot dot dot. All right, so with our list of parts, we can go back to the bill of materials, vice body, fixed jaw, floating vice jaw, lead screw. Maybe the keeper said the handle and the, oh, and then the vice jaw handle cap. I probably should have just called it the vice handle. I don't know, whatever. So whatever was something that in the next video we'll go back and see about renaming. All right, so one more, and we'll bring in the keeper. Model view, browse, and the vice keeper. All right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in this order. And we'll go parent. All right, so it was apparently on sheet scale 5:1. Nah, I don't know that we need to be 5:1. Let's go 2:1. All right, maybe a little bit better. 3:1. So I'm not opposed to adjusting these to where they look good. All right, so we have 2 more sheets to put in. I will finish the video up here, but we're pretty much in at the point where our next pass will be to start adding dimensions.